I'm Peter Towers. Welcome to this ongoing series on product packages within ESS BIZTOOLS. Today we're going to be referring to business planning. So on the website I have the details of the content within ESS BIZTOOLS. I'm going to business planning and clicking on there, and we have this material which is a video on the contents of business planning for our subscribers. I'm going to download the content, and first item I want to show you is the procedure control form. This is the document which will guide you through the overall process. In the first instance, we suggest that you read the business planning consultancy paper, which we're going to show to you next. But then we've got the assignment forms and work codes, and then some information for the client, some briefing documents if you're having part of the process conducted by another consultant, so you can specify your time requirements and give them an idea of what this document's been prepared for. If you're going to use it to raise capital, I think you should inform that consultant so that they're aware that it's going to be used to raise $1 million and utilising crowdsourced funding, equity raising or whatever. So this document guides you through the process of preparing a business plan for a client. I'll be surprised if you will need every item contained in this checklist, but as you do a number of these business planning assignments, you'll probably find that you will have used most of the material at some stage. So I hope that's helpful, and it gives you an idea that each of our product packages has one of these procedure control forms. Now I'm now going through the list of material. The BAS is Business Advisory Services. They're the forms, and they cover a wide range of activities. And to give you an idea of what one looks like, I'm going to go to Agenda for Business Planning Think Tank meeting, which is 1351. So here's a document. Above the double lines, you could insert your firm's name, and you can edit this material if you wish. You can put the client's name on there. But it's a list of the matters that could be considered, and you can edit this if you wish to add some more and to delete some of them if they're not appropriate to this particular client. But that's a good checklist of some of the matters that should be given consideration when you're preparing a business plan. Because remember, the business plan is then the key document that is the introduction to the predictive accounting process, the budgets, cash flows, and projected balance sheets. So the key information needs to be disclosed in the business plan so that the predictive accounting reports is the financial reflection of what's in the business plan. But as you can see, there's a lot of items to be taken into account when you're preparing business plans for clients. 56 subject headings. Some businesses may have more and others will have less, of course. So that's that document. And what I'm wanting to do here is to go through to the key paper, which is the business planning consultancy form. So we're clicking onto it. This is paper 570042. We've got the contents. So this is a paper that summarises the approach. In a detailed webinar, which we passed as we made this introduction to you, as an overview of what's in the business planning activities, we passed the detailed video. This is the paper which sets out everything that we believe could happen to you in undertaking a business planning assignment for your client. As I've stressed a couple of times, some of the material will probably not apply in every occasion. So hopefully that helps you and it helps your team to become familiar with what business plans are all about. And there are links built in, as you can see, from the various BAS numbers throughout this document. You click on them, you can refer to the other item that's there. I wouldn't give this document to your client because any of the documents in the 570 series are meant for you as the preparer of the business plan to read and to ensure that your team members are familiar with it. So that's the process, the overall control of the document to prepare a business plan. I just want to go now to a couple of other items. We have a paper that is referred to as 9005. So this is a guide to the preparation of a business plan. This is a document you could make available to a client because it gives them an idea of what you are trying to achieve for them. It's a good idea to do a SWOT analysis very early in the piece, probably to check it a couple of times during the business planning process. And there's a separate paper on SWOT analysis which you can click to. The important question is, what's the vision for this business? What type of thought has been given to this? And you may have to play the lead role in some of this to get the leadership team to start thinking. Sometimes the leadership team can be a bit unsure of themselves in a business planning process. Some of them are not really sure why they're there. Why did the boss ask them to come to this? Some of them might only be on the fringe of the leadership team, but the CEO is wanting to get more people involved in the process. Maybe he's looking at future promotion for some other people. So who are your customers? What are their needs? How are these needs changing? How's this business going to react to those changes? What are their attitudes to the services you're providing? And in there somewhere there's a question, if you were the boss, what changes would you make? Get them talking about the range of services, the pricing, the people strategies in the business, the place and distribution strategies, their location, accessibility, convenience. So hopefully this is giving you information you can think about. What macroeconomic conditions are affecting the business? Inflation rates, we've got plenty of that at present. High interest rates, we've got that. Unemployment, swaying around a bit. In fact, finding people is one of the big problems for many businesses. Cost increases, we're going through that. What's going on with industry development? We've got all these changes going on as the government of the day is trying to phase out fossil fuels. What are the implications for the client that you're preparing a business plan for? Does this have? What about the government legislation? There's a lot more new government legislation coming in. Some is deemed to be quite critical of SME businesses, especially with labour hire and employment of people. What effect is that going to have on your client's business? You need to promote some discussion on these things amongst the leadership team to get them to express an opinion so that there can be an overall consensus as to what the vision of the business is going to be through all these things. What's going on with competitors? Do they have a competitor file? Are they monitoring what their competitors are doing? Is there a new competitor likely to come to town? What's the mission statement? And so on. So that's an interesting paper which really hopefully will help you to explore these issues with your client. Because a business plan is not just a glorious document, 20, 30, 40, 50 pages that's looked at once, signed off and perhaps given to the bank manager, if you can find a bank manager these days, and then put in the bottom drawer. It should be a living document. It should be getting referred to at least each month by the leadership team and the board of advice or the board of directors. How are we going compared to the strategies outlined in the business plan? It's not just prepare it and throw it away. You're nearly wasting your time if that's the approach. It needs to be a key document to guide the firm. And at times there will be some variations agreed to. It should be documented, and then that might become the new business plan. Okay, so that's the paper. I just want to show you, we go back to some of these forms. One of the forms that you might give to another consultant that's going to be involved in part of the process, we call the market research validation. Many of your clients really need to get validation from someone. Now, it could be you, could be someone in your firm, but in lots of cases it needs to be an expert who understands where businesses and particular industries are going, who will write a report on what this company's prospects are. And that can be a key document in the development of a business plan. Because if the leadership team believes that their turnover, which is currently $2 million a year, can be increased to $6 million in the next 2 years, there needs to be some validation. Otherwise, it's just people writing figures on a screen. So that validation could be an independent expert who understands that particular market, who's looked at it, who's looked at the supply chain, who's looked at problems of getting products from overseas perhaps, so it could be suitable to manufacture in Australia or whatever. So this is a briefing document you might supply to this person with all the details of who it's for, and then you tell them what the primary research items are. We want some market research, we want testimonials, we want to know the validation, what's likely to occur. And you tell him the date you'd like this report back, and a few other things. So that's one of these reports. We've got similar type of documentation for a marketing plan, for legal advice, for creating export markets overseas and other things, so that it's there, so that you are in fact subcontracting some of the work. Now some of this will be specified by the client, that they've talked to a certain person and that's the person they would like you to go to. So that's the review of that material. That's part of the very important process of looking at how a business plan is prepared. We also have within the ESS BIZTOOLS system business plan questionnaires for about 20 different categories, and we have already referred to a couple of those business planning questionnaires in the other webinars that we've produced in that series. If you have any questions on any aspect of the ESS BIZTOOLS approach to business planning, you can send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or telephone me on 1800 232 088. And don't forget the special promotion which we have at present, which is going through to the 19th of December. Those details are on our website. Thank you. Goodbye.